I am L. Mame. Today we are going to deal with how should quantum merit claim evaluated. The expression quantum merit means the amount he deserves or what the job is worth, and in most cases denote a claim for a reasonable amount. Payment on a quantum merit basis will normally arise in circumstances where a benefit has been conferred which justice requires should result in reimbursement being made. A claim or a quantum merit does not normally arise if there is an existing contract between the parties to pay an agreed sum. There may be a quantum merit claim where there is first one, no express agreement to pay a reasonable sum. B. No price fixed. If the contractor does work under a contract, express or implied, and no price is fixed by the contract, he is entitled to be paid a reasonable sum for the labor and material supplied. C. A quasi-contract. This may occur when there are failed negotiations. If the work is carried out by negotiations as to the terms of the contractor are proceeding, but agreement is not reached. In that situation, the contractor is entitled to be paid a reasonable sum for the work carried out. Then, case British Steel versus Cleverest Bridge, 1984. Then One Construction Limited versus Norwich Union, 1992. In those cases, it was found work outside the contract. Where there is a contract for specified work, a situation where the contractor does the work outside the contract at the employer's request, the contractor is entitled to be paid a reasonable sum for the work outside the contract on a basis of implied contract. In Perkinson and Commissioners of Work, 1949, in that case, the contractor agreed under a varied contract to carry out certain work to be ordered by the commissioner of cost plus basis subject to a limitation of the total amount of the profit. The commissioner ordered work to a total of 6,600,000, but it was held that on its true construction, the varied contract only gave the commissioner's authority to order the work to the value of 5 lakhs. It was held that the work that had been done by the contractor included more than was covered on its true construction by the variation D, and that the cost of the work uncommented addition had therefore to be paid by a quantum merit. In the case of Laserbow Limited versus Bixwell Limited, the subcontractor was, in accordance with the letter of intent, was entitled to be paid fair and reasonable amount for all works executed. The contract referred to in the letter of intent was to be based on FEEC blue form, but no price or pricing mechanism was reached. It was the contractor's argument that the subcontractor's recorded cost should be the basis of payment. Judge Boucher QC did not agree and had this say regarding the cost as being the correct method of fixing fair and reasonable amount. I am in no doubt that the cost plus basis is the form in which it was applied by the defendant quantum expert, though not in other forms, is the wrong in principle, even though in some instances it may produce the right result, and one can test it by examples. If a company directors are sufficiently carry to buy materials from shop or at knockdown prices from a liquidator, must they pass on the benefit of their own cunningness to their customers? Question mark. If a contractor provides two cranes of equal capacity and equal efficiency to do equal amount of work, should one be charged at lower rate than the other because one crane is only 1 year old but the other is 3 years old? If an expensive item of equipment has been depreciated to nothing in the company's accounts by a careful maintenance, the company continues to use it. Must the equipment be provided free of charge apart from the running costs, fuel and labor? On the defendant, that is also question mark. On the defendant's argument, the answer to those questions is yes. I cannot accept that begins to be right. The one problem in this case is the plaintiff's expert has in some instances relied not on general market rates but institutional rates which are said to be high in the circumstances. The plaintiff expert relies on some instances on FCEEC day work rates. The defendant expert objects that the use of those rates involved an element of double charging in that FCEEC day work rates include charges for insurance and other head office charges which are separately made to Spencer's calculations. The experts have agreed to a reduction in respect of these charges. Once the agreed reduction has been made, I see no objection to the use of FCEEC day work rates in the instance and in which they have been used. Contractors having entered into a contract shall, with all the terms including the price agreed, often argue that due to changes of critical nature and the seriousness of delays caused by the employer, the contract has been frustrated. If this argument holds, then the original contract rates no longer applicable and the payment to be based on merit basis. This argument was the basis of the case Mel Alpine Hamburg versus McNaught International 1992, which succeeded in the lower court. The Court of Appeal did not reject the principle of payment on a quantum merit basis, but found on the facts that no frustration has occurred. In the case of Lachini versus Destination Canada 1996, negotiations for construction works were broken down and no contract was signed. Nevertheless, the work was carried out. Payment for work was due on a quantum merit basis. The contractor claimed for payment well in excess of the amount of its quotations. The court held that the billing contractor should not be better off as a result of failure of the contract than he would have been if his quotation had been accepted. It was the court's view that the amount of the quantum must be the upper limit of the entitlement. In some cases, it may be appropriate to consider the level of pricing being negotiated before the work started. The following principles concerning the quantum merit were established in the Australian case, Brenner versus Firm Artisan Management 1993. A case of quantum merit presupposes that no contract exists. The yardstick for determining a claim for quantum merit is what is a fair and reasonable remuneration for compensation for the benefit accepted actually or contractively. If the parties have been agreed a price of a certain service and the services are performed, an agreed price may be given as evidence of the appropriate remuneration, but it is not self-conclusive. The appropriate method of assessing benefit in some case may be applying an hourly rate for the time involved in the performing the service. Where it is difficult to determine the number of hours involved, the court may have a global assessment. Thank you.